Okay.
Hello, Lauren.
Hey, Casey.
Morning. Lauren and I are meeting first thing in the morning. We're drinking our coffee.
Yeah.
And I asked her to join us today. We have some things we wanted to talk about, but the primary thing is about sexual attraction and when to know if it's just a little fleeting thing that all humans experience or if it is something deeper. And she and I are going to share our own personal experiences and what we've discovered and what we know to be true for ourselves so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to talk to Lauren because Lauren and I have a similar way of like receiving, I guess, energetic imprints or like information through like a feeling, kind of like an empathy, but it's like where you can sense when something energetically is off. And Lauren has like the most sense around this of anybody that I've ever known because she can feel something's not right. And my husband Zach's like that too. He can just feel like immediately. And this is how I am too. We can just feel. So it's kind of funny because we'll talk about something that we notice or what we feel, and then it'll be the same. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so I wanted her to talk about first, if she wants to, when her feeling sense helped her in her relationship to get more clear, become more conscious how you were helping each other through something maybe he wasn't ready to see or he didn't see, and you did not quit.
I know. My main learning around it is when I pick up on something, my biggest learning is now not to go to judgment because I'm a Scorpio. So I can easily just sting, or make somebody wrong or whatever. And it really creates me more pain when I do that. So instead it's like, okay, I'm feeling this. Can I just be honest? And that's the commitment in my relationship right now. That's our commitment. It's just whatever's there, just share it. If it's you're attracted to somebody else, if it's whatever it is, just let's be honest about it and bring it to the light. Can we receive each other in non-judgment? Even if that means let me just take a pause and go feel everything I need to feel. So that's where we came to in this relationship. But for a while, as he was my partner now, he had never been really in a relationship, like a monogamous committed relationship that he felt really wanted, like he really wanted to be in this. But even though he wanted to, all his parts were not aligned with that yet. So he wants this, but he still had aspects of self that were fighting it a little bit, so I would feel like he's like, I want this. I can hear his words. I want it. I want this monogamous relationship. But I would feel aspects of him like over here. I would feel different women in our field, and I would just feel it. And I'd be like, there's something off. Like there is something off, and then he had a little defense around it at first. And then he'd be like, he just started noticing what he was energetically actually doing wasn't aligning with what he was saying. And so it was a choice point of, do I want this? Or do I just need to surrender? And do I actually want to be polyamorous or something? Like it was a self-honesty point. And I think that's the way of relationships now. It's like no more just going through the motions. Let's get self-honest. I mean, people that really want to feel good in relationships is going to have to be self-honest,
Yeah. And like conscious relationships are such a great portal for people to wake up, people that are on a spiritual path, people that really do want to like fully awaken, doing it together and helping each other like y'all did. And whenever you say energetic, I want to be clear, Lauren, I think she means these were things that he was doing energetically that were hidden. He was never acting out on any of these things or even doing anything physically that manifesting it. You could just sense it was happening in a subtle energetic.
Yes, it was in a subtle energetic. When when we came together, I mean, in his past, he had people that he would communicate with that was kind of intimate, and so like he had not yet gotten clear in how he was going to communicate with these people. So I would feel them. I would actually see them sometimes in our field, you know? So it was just like, what's actually happening here? And at first I didn't fully know, okay, is this just me, or is this just me being like
insecure or something?
But then it was just like, no, I trust myself, and there's nothing wrong with this. If this is what he wants, there's nothing wrong with it. But just my commitment, self-honesty in this relationship. So share if this is what's happening, you know.
And it scared him at first, right? Because that is a huge wound inside of the feminine and masculine, I think, of like, she's going to kill me, or she's going to, if she knows that I even, you know, have this going on at all, I'm in so much self-judgment, like I'm so bad, this is wrong. And needing to control that energy or stop it, hide it. So can you talk more about that energy and what your partner learned?
Yeah, what he learned was as he really tuned into himself, he realized what I do want is this relationship in this form of monogamy. I do want that. So what he decided to do is, instead of suppress that energy and pretend it wasn't there and cut himself off from that, instead he just allowed himself to fully feel it. Okay. Instead of like even subtly like gray area stuff, he just was like, I'm going to fully feel this and breathe it into the heart. And he said, as he brought it into the heart, he realized, do I actually want to express this to this person? Do I actually want something from this person? And he said it would just dissolve in the light of his awareness. Like he didn't actually want to do anything with it. But when he wasn't self-honest about it, he was like, it was a gray area, and he was doing things with it energetically without even knowing he was doing anything with it. You know,
it all goes unconscious.
So he just would allow it. He was like, yes, I'm feeling this. Let me just allow it up into my heart. I'm going to breathe with it. And it would just dissolve. And then he said slowly, like after a couple months, it didn't even arise anymore. It was just like nothing, you know, but he had to fully see it before it could shift, you know.
Yes, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm working with consciousness, seeing something, it's a different thing, but it's like the same mechanics of how consciousness will dissolve whatever it is, if we can just be with it, just allow it to come up and see it. That's all. It's really all we have to do. It's funny that we do all these things.
Yeah. Fully feel it, fully see it. But I do want to say, add this in. It was only it was true for him that he 100% wanted monogamy. I've also been in it where they don't actually fully want monogamy, you know, so it's going to still feel confusing for the other person because it's not fully aligned, you know. Like with him, it was 100%. I knew that was true. I could feel it. And so then it was just him letting this stuff heal within himself. But for some people, they might be saying, yeah, I want monogamy, and it's still feeling funny for the other person. Well, it's because that's not actually their full truth, you know?
Right. And you can sense it. So whenever he was experiencing this, and you knew he was clear, and you knew his heart was sincere in what he was saying, how did it affect you though? Because like, you know, if I hear my husband or my partner say, yeah, well, I do really find this woman really attractive. I do, you know, so did it activate some insecurities that you had to be with?
Yeah, I got to watch my own judgments, or my own, that one inside that would get jealous, you know, and instead of like make him wrong about it, because he's just sharing what's there, I got to do my own work around that, you know?
Right.
But I want to say, like, if someone's feeling confused once they've been self-honest with each other, if the woman or the man, whoever it is, keeps feeling confused, like they're saying this, but I'm still feeling confused, something's off. You know, something's off, because if somebody wants to be with you, you're going to know it. You know, it's not going to feel confusing or like, it's not going to feel bad. It's going to feel good. You know, it's going to feel clear, and you'll realize they're working through something, but they want this, you know?
Exactly. I mean, this is exactly what conscious relating is, what you're describing, the whole process that y'all been through. And I love that you say to validate what you know, because I mean, that's something we've heard since we were young, is like, you'll know when someone wants to be with you. Yeah. You won't feel confused. If you feel confused, then you already know, like,
something else is going on.
Yeah, it's not right. I spent most of my like teenage years confused as could be, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, like up was down and down was up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I feel like my husband and I, we've been together for 15 years. We've had, you know, ups and downs, but we're at a place now where I feel like we've worked through a lot, and we can feel each other so much, just like you're describing, that there really is we can't hide anything.
Yeah.
Like we can't even tell, like Zach can't even tell a lie. Like we can, it's all energetic the way we communicate. And so we just feel it. It's a beautiful way to be. And I think that's where relationships are headed, is like, I mean, there won't be, you can't lie. Like there will be nothing hidden, like all the spiritual books say. It's like, because you can absolutely feel it.
Yeah. I want to say something else that's coming to right now is that I think the reason that I think in the future, like a lot of learning is going to be around somatics and around sexuality, is because that is our natural essence, you know, is pure, unhindered sexual energy, creation energy. That's what we are, you know? And we got into these relationships. Usually we weren't conscious. Like if you look back on when you got married or when, I mean, like there was love there, but we weren't fully conscious. And so as we start awakening, there's going to be learning around sexuality. There's going to be learning around getting self-honest, and as all these unconscious parts come up, you know, and not to fear that, because that's part of it, you know, it's part of the learning, you know.
And if you're not self-honest, I'm not going to go into like intense detail because of privacy reasons, but like you said, the person's going to know, first of all. So things are going to be weird. Energetically, it's going to feel off if you're not being honest. Being self-honest is very scary, though. I know you said don't fear it, but it's very scary.
Yeah.
But it's already obvious. So that's the funny thing, is like we're so scared to say what probably is the person's already aware of on some level, even if they're completely asleep. There's something that feels weird. You know what I mean?
It's our fear of loss, you know?
It is, because it's like, what am I going to lose? What am I? And so, yeah, that's really what it is. It's scary.
Do we want to talk about the learning, where we learn, like the learning of, is it just a sexual thing or is it just a soul?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to tell you, this is what came to me last night.
Okay.
It's like this dumbest analogy, but it's so funny. Okay. So the analogy is, this is what came to me. So this spirit talks to me in the most, like, I think, funny ways, like almost embarrassing. Like I almost don't want to say it, but so this is what came to me to describe sexual attraction versus the soul attraction. Like sexual attraction. Do you know, like when someone's having a barbecue and you can smell it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the way that it came through was like, okay, sexual attraction is like where you notice it and you're like, oh gosh, that smells so good, but you don't go over and like eat all their barbecue. You know, it's like not yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you just enjoy it. You notice it's there, and then you're not like up at night thinking like, damn it, I wish I would have went to their barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, that's sexual attraction. It's just like a fleeting thing, like a feeling, like a, you know, like a cloud in the sky comes and goes and it doesn't hang on to you.
Right. And the mind can fixate on it if it's not a, you know what I mean? It can be like,
what was that feeling?
Yeah, what was that feeling? It's out there somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. Which that's the thing that I would be confused, because just in pure innocence, now that I see, was, I mean, I don't feel sexual attraction to like random people very often. I mean, right. I go to CrossFit where there's all kinds of hunky men with their shirts off, sweating and lots of masculine energy. I never feel like a turned on feeling or anything, you know?
Yeah.
And so if I ever did in the world or do in the world, I would think, what is this? This must mean something. Like there must be something I have to do. Like maybe this is my soul, you know? And so I would be like, not sure of what it meant, what to do with it. And it would drive me crazy because I would feel like,
what is this?
I mean, I don't know. So let's talk about that, because we both have had experiences that kind of went in maybe different, opposite, just different ways.
Literally like opposite of the coin, you know?
Yeah, polar opposite. And so what is in your experience, we've talked about this, I know what your answer is, but I love to hear it again. What the difference between, like, because there's people who literally are serial adulterers. They cheat constantly and they're always looking for somebody else to like fill a gap. Maybe they're miserable in their relationship.
It's usually the wounded child inside, that they haven't done like,
we talked about
it's looking for its mama. And or if it's a woman with the serial men, it's like
maybe look at the support of her dad, or
the support to fill that hole that's never going to be filled by something outside of us. But
right, because then you start a cycle of pain, of like guilt and shame, and because it's all hidden.
And it's really it's not gonna heal until we're actually facing ourselves.
Exactly.
That's like people, the antithesis of what someone wants to hear, because that's an addiction.
It is. It's a way of just escaping, but we know it just causes more suffering, and so I mean, until people suffer enough. But go ahead.
I'll put the story in a nutshell, so that, because I don't feel like that's the focus, but I was in, so to go back to how you said you feel attracted, like physical does not attract me at all. It's heart. Like if I feel a heart connection to somebody, or like a soul, like there's all energy. That's what I would wake me up a little bit. But so I was married in a monogamous relationship for 20 years. And we both grew up in religion. We both grew up in, this is what you do and this is how you are, and suppression. Both of us did. Little experience in sexuality until we got married, And so, to me, I use the word Holy Spirit, but if that triggers people, you can use the word divine, whatever you want to use. To me, I realized Holy Spirit, its purpose is to expand our awareness. Its purpose is to grow us. Our sole purpose is to grow. And so for our dynamic, probably 3 years before we got divorced, I started feeling something for somebody else. And I was honest with my ex-husband. I was honest with it. And it was so hard. I mean, because he's my best friend too. So he was my best friend. It was so hard because I didn't want to break his heart. And I saw how it made him feel, but he was so great in supporting me of just whatever you need to do, I'll be here when you get back. That's what he kept saying, like, whatever you need to do. And I kept fighting it. So like, that lets me know that there's something, now that I look back, that's a sign that it's like Holy Spirit or divine, because it's not what I wanted. It's not what my ego self wanted, because I thought, I'm going to lose everything. Like, this is against everything that my family, my parents, everybody that lives like only a mile away or about, I'm going to lose everything. And so I don't want this, and it would not leave me alone for a year. So that's a symbol to me that's a sign to me that you're being honest with your partner. You're really asking that this go away, and it's still not going away. So everything's in the light. And finally he, I called him one day and I was like, I'm going to where this person lives, because I have to see what this is for. And he actually was like, okay, I'll go with you. He's so supportive in that, so he went with me. And I will never forget when I said, I'm going. It was not even of up here at all. It was from the depth of my soul of like, I'm going. Like, I have to go. If I lose everything, it doesn't matter, because I have to go.
It's driving you crazy.
Driving me insane. I'm going to lose my mind if I do not listen to this, so that's a symbol that it's something beyond self that's moving this, and then the fact that he was supportive of it, and like, he went with me. So when I went to actually be with this person to see what's it for, we were like meeting for tea, Jim walked 25 miles that day, because he was just like walking through fire inside of it's burning away everything that we had attached to, this is burning away fear. This is burning, and he's going to lose something, And so that day I just handed it over. Spirit, show me what this is for. So we had tea for like 2.5 hours, and it was just effortless. And as I handed it over, there was intimacy, and I went back and shared everything with Jim. I can say his name because it's so open, I mean, I've written articles about this. And he even had a flower on the door when I got back, like he was just so supportive with every step. And so that's another symbol. You'll see it. You're being supported all around, even when it's hard and you're both, there's support there. There's like unexplainable. And so over the next 2 years, we were just actually, I think, awakening to the truth of ourselves. And what was dying was this illusion that he could complete me or I could complete him, or that we could control how our souls were going to journey in this world, And so I think that's another symbol. You'll see growth all around. It's like a grace stream that's carrying you, and then now we're divorced and still close, but now he says he would not change one thing about any of it, because like it's what woke him up. And he's very happy now. And so it's like, that's another symbol. You'll see growth all around. And there, it's just this love that's carrying it. There's something bigger than self that's carrying it,
Right. Yeah. And like because our minds has such a fixed idea of how things should be, that we can't even open our hearts to, like, maybe we don't know what's going to happen, but it is scary to let go of that grip of like, well, this is how it's supposed to be.
Because love that person.
Right. Well, I heard she told a story. She said she stayed with her first husband for 17 years because she didn't want to hurt his feelings, because he said he could not live without her and all this stuff. And she said when she finally left him, within 2 weeks, he had another girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, and I remember Jim saying, like, this still, I mean, it feels tender. Him saying one time, I just want to love myself like I love you. I just want to learn how to love myself like I love you. And it like broke my heart to hear that, because he just kept, even when I was having to move with the soul, like he was just holding on, but then he knew it was just creating pain. And so he woke up to what I could never fulfill. And now he's in another relationship,
Yeah. I mean, he did love you so much. And I just feel like it's like almost like you have to sacrifice that idol. I mean, it's like an idol. And the idea of whatever our relationship is an idol. It's all mental idols. You know what I mean? And then we give that up, like sacrifice that. That's when we get what's on the other side, which is like wholeness and true, love.
Yeah, I want to say what you just said. A Course in Miracles says it like this, and I love it. Where you anticipate grief, a gift is bestowed on you. Where you anticipate pain, you experience the deeper peace, deeper joy, because you've actually just trusted truth more than idolization and like the love. Just we wake up to the gifts that are there, to the beauty that's here that we don't even know that's here, because we're living an illusion.
Exactly. I want to shift this because I want to ask, how can people know, this seems relevant, like their soul? Like, how can they know the thing that, does everybody speak to them different, do you think? Like in the way that it moves, is it feelings or images, or like, because my only thing I know is mine is like, it's like a knowing. It's like almost an instinctual, like thing. That's not, I can't even put words around it because it's not even a feeling. It's like a stability that has kind of always been underneath all the other stuff. You know what I mean? But it does move me almost like a rudder of a boat.
Yeah. I think, did you come to that place? I think it's because however we feel it, like yours is just this knowing, some people receive it auditorially, like telepathy, whatever. I mean, however somebody receives it. I'm like, I think the key thing that unites them all is there's this self-honesty that's there. There's this self-honesty with feeling. There's a little inquiry there, whatever. There's some sort of honesty. Yeah.
To keep asking, to keep telling the truth, because the truth will shift. Like your truth 5 years ago is not your truth today.
Right.
But you have to be honest with where you are and don't try to like be more involved than you are in this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've tried to do that before and try to like go ahead and force the process, or like go ahead of where I am. Yeah. And really the beauty is just to be exactly where you are. That's the thing. It is, as like unspiritual as it may seem, that's really the doorway.
Yeah. I tried to go to concept of like to avoid what this was. I just tried to go to a concept of to stuff it a little deeper, and then it's gonna, that's where sickness, people get sick or whatever because they're suppressing
and medicate ourselves so much in order to like, something's wrong. We're like, our society is there's so many people that are like, something's wrong. You know what I mean? But it's because we're not listening. I think maybe not everybody, but I can't speak for everybody, but there's like a general sickness that we have of not listening to our soul, like in society.
And I think too, people would listen more if a lot of times it's the fear of financial stability. If they got self-honest, the fear of, what would people think, safety, security, these type things. But until we're self-honest, we can't realize the universe is supporting us. But if we're going to fixate on these fears, we can never learn that. We're given more power to the fear than we are to the truth, I
know. And I know a lot of people because whenever I'd go through certain phases where I would be posting things that were true for me, that were my absolute truth, that literally make me an outcast. I would have people message me and say, hey, I can't say this on Facebook or whatever, because I will lose my job or my family or but they would let me know silently that they supported me. So that's why it's also important to speak your truth, because it helps to free other people. Because now I see those people actually speaking their truths now. Yeah. And so it's like, you got to keep, going, can show them that it's a possibility. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's, we only come to know, I use the word God. We only come to know the truth when we actually are willing to step into the unknown without like support, without knowing how we're going to even be supported. And then all of a sudden we're picked up,
Right. And you can't know it. It's not mental, because I've done the same thing. Like, I'm currently doing a kind of like, I've told you about this, like this docu thing about my compulsive behavior around like a plant substance. It's not marijuana, but anyway, so actually it's kind of just being undone on its own through presence. Just my conscious awareness of it actually is kind of dissolving it. I don't have to do anything, but it made me the deeper I go into it, the more I notice the mental, like I'll want to think about what I've done instead of feel. Mm-hmm. So I think if somebody's dealing with, we can bring it back to relationships. If they're dealing with feeling like maybe it's their current relationship and how it is not, they're not being fully honest, instead of freaking thinking about it all the time and spending so much mental energy processing and planning and projecting, to sink down into the feeling of it.
Yeah. And that is, and in self-reflection, to feel and self-reflect, like without judgment of self, of what somebody's feeling,
Yeah.
I think there's so many different routes of self-reflect. If somebody's just new to everything, it's like, well, my path that gave me a roadmap to ask me the right questions was Way of Mastery. Yours was through Byron Katie and learning somatics, learning to feel.
Breath work. Yeah.
Breath work. But there's so many avenues out there that people can help people get in touch with what their deepest desire is, what their soul's actually trying to communicate to them.
Yes. I think just following the things that
feel inspiring.
Yeah. I feel inspired out, because I found the book. Well, I honestly didn't feel inspired at the time. Whenever I came to you at the yoga studio, I was just desperate. It was almost like I really didn't think yoga would help me at all, because I'm like, how is moving my body? I've been running 10 miles a day and I'm still anxious. Yeah. How is the physical thing is going to help me? But then I got it really quickly, because I had suffered so much from the, anxiety, terrible anxiety. And so literally like the first class I had an awakening, and then you had the book, The Power of Now, at the studio, and I bought it. And then that really spurred my awakening. It just really happened really fast. But I think it's because, like I said, I was at like rock bottom. I was at my wit's end.
Yeah. I think if you were at rock bottom, you were at your wit's end, your soul had asked for help, even if you didn't realize it. And then all of a sudden it's bringing in.
That's how it is.
I think if somebody just asks, you know what, I'm tired of feeling like shit, I'm ready, then just pay attention because love's going to start bringing into your awareness avenues to where you can start to.
And you may not think it will work, and it may not be the thing that you think it will be, but just because that's literally how my whole process has unfolded. Is it's not what I think. It's not, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, even now I'm talking about it and said that. I mean, that's how it all, when I was trying to describe to you yesterday what, like with my relationship, what had unfolded, I was like, I was still unsure, but obviously that was like, my soul it's just like a deeper part. I mean, I have a lot of things on top that talk and, you know, that try to like make sense of it all, but obviously it's all like it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Will you slide to the left just a little bit? The sun is like
this way.
Other way. There you go. Can you slide? There you
I'm
go.
in my car. I didn't even tell people this. I'm in my car because my family's all in the house and they'll be loud. And the dog. I mean, he's at the window right now looking at me. He's like, "What are you doing, lady?" Well, Lauren, is there anything else that is coming up, or do you?
I don't think so. This feels pretty complete. Does it feel?
Yeah, it feels complete to me. See, it's so funny how you and I feel into our bodies, and like it
feels
just
like
feels
that's all
like,
I gotta say.
Yeah, just an emptiness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll put it on my YouTube. Y'all have a good day. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Casey.